Hey, I'm Nathan Bernier with KUT News. Thank you for joining me on this live stream today. We're going to be talking about Austin's light rail plans again, and we're going to be doing a little walkthrough of the maps because we do have some detailed maps that the Austin Transit Partnership has released beyond the just the very. Hey, I'm Nathan Bernier. Oh, let's turn myself off. I'm actually echoing. Sorry, I'm trying to monitor my stream here, and realizing that hey, maybe I should turn in the volume so we don't have an echo. Just to make sure you can see me and everything's working and all that stuff. I hope you're having a happy Valentine's Day, by the way. It's Friday, February 14th, and, I've got some red on. If you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, then screw it. It's okay. I used to not be a Valentine's Day person, and now I am. So, cycle of life. I've got some energy drink here. I hope you don't mind. I'm drinking Clean Cause Orange Ginger. Now, I just want to make sure everything's working here. I hope you'll forgive me. I'm still relatively new to this, and I do have a chat here that I can check. And, if you want to say anything in the chat, message in the chat, feel free. And, if you're not subscribed, then please do subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/@KUTNathan, or perhaps you are viewing this on Twitter, aka X, and if you are, feel free to hop on over to YouTube. Now, I'm seeing some connection issues here, so I might just try and fix this real fast. Well, it seems to be working okay. Maybe I don't need to fix it. Anyway, just let me know if you can't see this, and still pretty new to live streaming, so if this doesn't work very well, then I'll figure it out for next time. Oh, now it says my connection's good. All right. So what you're looking at here behind me is kind of weird. I took one of ATP's renderings for the light rail and put it into a service, I think it's called vidfly.ai or something, and it animates photos. I was just really curious what this would look like, and I did it for a couple of these. So this is looking at Riverside Drive, looking toward downtown, and we're sort of looking at the Pleasant Valley station. I also did this one of UT. Whoa, whoops, sorry. This is not what I wanted to do. The UT one needs to be a bit bigger. And you can see it kind of split the train up. But hey, that looks kind of neat. This is what it might look like at the University of Texas. The light rail station, Guadalupe, would be closed to cars and trucks to allow more space for the many, many pedestrians around there to do their thing. To get on the train, really, and so it'd be easier to access the train. I think basically only transit vehicles and like trucks making deliveries would be allowed through. And then there's also this one of Riverside Drive, and this is kind of weird. This guy's walking backwards, and this guy's on a bike, but he's also walking with his bike. Anyway, did that lady's head turn completely around? Anyway, I think it's kind of funny. The cars aren't moving either, but this just gives you an idea of what it might be like. Now, this is one of the design options, and we'll get to it in the light rail plan. There's the base plan, and then there are some optional modifications, and this is one that would put a pedestrian path and a bicycle path. The bike path is red, down, or terracotta, down the middle of Riverside Drive with these trees to provide shade, because I don't know if you've spend much time walking down Riverside Drive. It's especially in the summer, there's not much shade. In fact, there's almost no shade at all. And there would be I've asked about this. There would be additional pedestrian crossings to allow people to access this, because that's another problem with Riverside Drive, is you have to go a very long distance to find any pedestrian crossings. Okay, well, I hope your day is going well. Let's take a look here at some of the stuff I want to do. First of all, what we're talking about here is oops, this is the draft environmental impact statement that the Austin Transit Partnership has put out about their 9.8 mile light rail plan. And just to orient ourselves, in case you're completely unfamiliar with this, let's just take a real quick look at the overall map here. Dang it, I thought I had the DEIS open. Forgive me here. Just got to get another file open, and this is the 16,371 page file. You can download it on our website. It is a combination of all of these 50-something files that make up the draft environmental impact statement. And this has, I mean, I'll tell you what, this is mostly, even though it's 16,000 pages, something like 10,000 pages of this is a list of properties. So if you want to dig in yourself, you just Google like Austin Transit Partnership DEIS. It'll be the first or second result. And you can just read through. I mean, the executive summary is pretty simple. I think it's about 25 pages. And but if you get this on our website, it will allow you to search the all 50 documents all at once. And we have a question in the chat from the Texan Rhino. I notice grass track in that render. Has that been proposed? I don't know how specific. This is sort of like that was like a sort of conceptual, excuse me, a conceptual rendering. You know, I imagine there might be some turf, there might be some grass. I mean, how would they irrigate that? It's a good question. It takes a lot of water to do that. We don't know if it would look exactly like this, but it's just a concept. Maybe they would have grass. Maybe this would just be rocks. But that's a good question. Same for all of these illustrations and renderings that you'll see. But this is the map. 15 stations, 9.8 miles. And can I just unlock this and so you can move it around there? And you can see here, 38th Street down to Waterfront, where then it would branch off in two different locations, to Oltorf Street and to Yellow Jacket. Now, there was some news, and I haven't had a chance to write a story about this yet, but the Austin Transit Partnership at their board meeting last week did state there's two priority, they call them priority extensions. So they're not shown in this map because they weren't studied as part of the DEIS. But basically, they've been considering stretching 38th Street, extending it to Crestview, or extending from Yellow Jacket to the airport. And at their board meeting last week, the Austin Transit Partnership made it clear that they are prioritizing the priority extension that goes to the airport. So they want to do that one first. They're going to try and find the money for that. It is interesting to me because it has a lot of political. We talked about this in our last live stream. It has a lot of political support, but it wouldn't have nearly the ridership of going up to Crestview, because that would connect with Crestview Metro Rail Station and get a lot more ridership. In fact, I want to just open up that FAQ. So I've literally have like 70 gigs of PDFs and other documents for my beat. So I've got a lot of stuff we can look at. This was when they were considering which of 5 options to go for. And I just, given that they are saying now they want to do the airport first, I thought this would be worth looking at. So the option they ultimately went with here was on Street 38 to Oltorf to Yellow Jacket. Not elevated. Although there may be partial elevation across, basically down Riverside Drive. That's when we're going to go through all these maps and we're going to take a look at that. But you can see here, so the bigger the dot, the more the anticipated ridership. They're looking by 2040, or 2045, something like 29,000 daily boardings, which is an estimate based on like an FTA software called Stops, I think, and they put all these inputs in, like demographic data, and it kind of says this is what the estimated ridership would be. I have not figured that out. I've not messed around with that. But here is, okay, so let's look at the airport. See this tiny little dot down here? This was one of the options they were considering, going from 29th Street to the airport, which would have been this right here. This map. They're stopping at Yellow Jacket. But, if they go to the airport, it would be very low estimated daily ridership. Among the lowest, fewer than 1,500 estimated trips daily. And then Crestview would have been one of the largest, which is, up to 7,500 daily boardings or trips. So I believe there are some logistical challenges with going to Crestview because they have the freight rail line, Cap Metro's freight rail line crossing the street. Is that airport? I think it might be Lamar, or where airport and Lamar converge. Forgive me. My North Austin geography is not as strong as my South Austin geography. And they have been working on doing a grade separation with that rail. Cap Metro has. I think it's kind of complicated and expensive. So maybe that's why, but I want to do a little more reporting on that. This is their priority now, and I think it'll make a lot of people happy because when you look at the engagement that they've done, I think it had maybe more political support, but I don't know, maybe not. Like, you just do tend to hear a lot about the airport. So this is what we're looking at today. We're going to be walking through this map, and I want to show you how to do this too in case you have any interest in figuring out, you want to take a closer look at anything. Basically, what you'd want to do is go back here to Austin Light Rail. See, I just Googled Austin Transit Partnership, DEIS, and it takes, the first result took me here, and you scroll down. And then what we're looking at are these two files, Appendix C. Base design conceptual drawings. I will take a moment to say I did have a story this week that published yesterday where I went through these maps in quite a lot of detail myself to figure out which businesses would be displaced potentially because these designs could change. And it's also possible that this light rail system won't get built because of three possible factors, really. The Texas legislature could pass a law that would make it virtually impossible for ATP to use their tax revenue to issue bonds. There are also two lawsuits that would basically do the same thing. And then who knows whether the Trump administration, what they'll do with funding for this. But ATP is not going to seek federal funding, I think, for a couple years maybe. And then with regard to whether I talked to I got some info on what they would do if they couldn't borrow money, and they're not quite ready to give up. They're not really specific about their plans, keeping it vague, but they would seek alternate forms of funding. I don't know. Maybe there's a way they could do it. I'm definitely not informed enough on those financing mechanisms, but it's something I do want to learn more about. So anyway, just real quick, we'll be touching on this today, but basically when the Austin Transit Partnership put out this 16,000-page draft environmental impact statement, DEIS, which is what they need to, it's a very expensive thing to put together. Obviously, it's 16,000 pages and it has tons and tons and tons of details. When they put this together, I'm just going to hold page down while I talk and we could just see how long this is. So when they put this together, all of these 16,000 pages, not a single page has a list of properties that would be displaced by this project. They do say there would be up to 64. See, a lot of it is like public comment. There would be up to 64 commercial properties, like basically bulldozed, torn down to make space for this rail system, because it would have dedicated rail lanes, guideway, right of way, whatever you want to call it. There'd be this is what we'll be looking at, dedicated rail lanes and also infrastructure, a park and ride at the end of each line. I'm going to go back here to our main map. At the end of each line, there would be a park and ride at the 38th Street, a parking garage with 300 spaces, Old Torf, 100 space parking lot, and I think 150 spaces at Yellow Jacket. I can't remember exactly, 100, 150, something like that. So that would require expropriating property. This operations and maintenance facility, which is down here, 62-acre operations and maintenance facility would require expropriating property. And it struck me as just noteworthy that out of these 16,371 pages, the Austin Transit Partnership did not make a list of properties affected. And I did ask them about that several times. And the main reasons boil down to, they say they want to allow landlords to inform tenants, number one, because a lot of these properties that would be torn down are leased to businesses. Businesses don't always own the building. They want to allow landlords to inform the tenants. And then the second one was, it's so early in the process, we don't even know if these are going to be torn down. But this is a public document, right? This is on their website. It is on the federal government website. It's out there. It's in the maps. So like when TxDOT, for example, did its draft environmental impact statement for the I-35 expansion, they did include a list of affected properties. And I actually was just looking at that, and I can pull that up real fast too. They had even more. I mean, they had over 100 homes and businesses that would have been displaced. And if I can just, sorry, it's like so many. Oh, I got it right here. So this is what TxDOT put out. This is, again, buried in their DEIS, but it's there. The TCAD parcel ID, doing business as, and then, even the appraised value of the property, the type. And then here they say, because they too had, they call them alternatives, but they had different build options. And some properties would be affected by one, other properties would be affected by another. They even put in here approximate distance to nearest similar service if business does not relocate within project area. So in other words, if this Bank of America is torn down, which it will be, at 3900 North I-35, what is the nearest similar business if Bank of America doesn't relocate in the area? It's 1.25 miles away. They have the property owner name, and then potential, this is environmental justice population, and then the property owner tenure, or is it a potential renter or whatever. So a lot of info in here in this document, and ATP didn't have anything like that. And I just thought, you know what, if I were a business owner, I would want to know if there was even a chance that my property would be demolished. And they're not telling people who are leasing. So I just went around and spoke to folks whose businesses, whose buildings would be affected. And, there's like this place, Out of the Closet, which is a thrift store that is also a healthcare center for people who are living with HIV. So you can go in there and do your thrifting, but it's also a way to, if you need to, discreetly obtain care or medication without necessarily revealing your status to everyone. They also do have a lot of nice looking clothes in there. I mean, it's not like a bad thrift store. It's almost more like a vintage shop. It felt a little more curated, although I think they do take donations, and then the money from the thrift store can fund their HIV testing. So this opened in May of last year. My colleague, Olivia Aldridge, did this story about it. But so that's, this we'll get to it, but that would be one of the clusters of business that would be demolished. Austin's first women's sports bar, which is going to be opening in this Moody's Bar and Grill, formerly Moody's Bar and Grill space. That's going to become, the plan is to extend Dean Keaton through that to reach San Antonio Street, because as I mentioned, Guadalupe would be close to, your average car and truck. So they would go down to San Antonio and then make their way to Nueces, which will be the two-way street. They already knew when they signed the lease, they already knew this was a possibility right here. But it was such an excellent opportunity for them that they did it anyway. This is, again, it'll be a 1972 women's sports pub. Is the name. They've had some crowdfunding. And that's Deborah Hellam. She's a co-owner along with her wife. This is a 75-year-old woman named Mai Faust. She's co-owner of My Cleaners and Alterations at 31st and Guadalupe between 31st and 31st and a half Street. She didn't know. She's leasing the business. She did not know that this property would become possibly an electrical substation or some other type of infrastructure. And it just struck me that, I would want to know, and why don't they put this out? So I just, looked at the map and made the list. And that's sort of what the story is. I mean, it's basically just we have a map down here of all of the locations. Well, this is a list. And then at the top, there's a map. Google Map, for those curious. So any major project, most major projects will require some form of displacement. I just thought for transparency's sake, it may be valuable for folks to have this information out there. I will say it was a lot more work than I thought it would be to do this, because when you look at the map, you'll see, for example, something like this. And you're like, okay, well, all they give you is the Travis County Central Appraisal District number. So every tract in the county has a number associated with it, the property ID number. So, but that just tells you the address. Well, here, let's try it out. Travis, you can do this actually. This is really useful thing to be able to do in your personal life to do this property search. It can become very valuable. But let's just do a property search here, and if we take this, like say this is 208323, so you can just go over to the Travis County CAD here, 208323. You can search by address or name too, and boom, it tells you, okay, this is the owner, Panjwani Energy Properties. This is an Exxon, by the way, a convenience store. But even then, it doesn't really tell you if there's anyone leasing there, what businesses are there. For example, there's like it's like not a food truck because it's a permanent installation right here on the corner. It's a halal. I want to eat there. Abu Omar Halal. It looked good. You can kind of see in this photo here where it is. So anyway, it's just a lot of work going around to all of these different sites. One of them was here. The only possible residential displacements, ATP says, would be if they did that path down the middle of Riverside Drive, would be at Montopolis and Riverside. This is if they do this path, and it would be homes and a gas station. And did they take out my picture of that? I think they took out my picture. Dang it. Okay, I had a lot of photos in here, so it's fine. But we can look at that. I went and I didn't see 4 homes. ATP said 4 homes. I saw 3 homes and another business that I thought maybe they mistook this for a home. It's like a trailer, like a portable home with like it looked like a cash transfer business in there, and the Shell station on the corner. Most of the businesses displaced about. This illustrates the example perfectly. Most of the businesses that would be displaced, about a third of them, would be here where they want to put an operations and maintenance facility on Airport Commerce Drive, which is like right down here, right south of here is the airport, basically. It's like kind of across the way. And so there's planes flying overhead. But even here, you look at all these tracks. This is a business park. This just does not tell you who is here. So I had to go there and drive around the business park, check out every single building, see who's in there. Texas Parks and Wildlife has an entire building there. Building 6 is like they have the Texas Buffalo Soldier Historian Archive there. They had the Texas Parks and Wildlife Special Operations Forces. I didn't even know they had special operations. I don't know what they do, but they had the sign there. And some archives and a training room and stuff like that. But there's other businesses here, Zooks, which does autonomous vehicles, and some other businesses. I honestly don't know what they do because I had not heard of them, but we have the whole list down here. ATP said there would be 24 businesses displaced by this. I counted 21. So it seems in at least a couple places they may be underestimating the number of displacements. Again, these designs change, and they did their count in spring 2024. So almost a year ago. A lot of stuff can change in a year. All right, so let's get to the task at hand here, which is we want to walk through this this rail line just to get an idea of what it is. Now, I also have, so this is the map that's included in the DEIS. Like I said, Appendix C. And there are also, I have these maps, which are a little more visually appealing. This is what the Austin Transit Partnership shows at public meetings. They have these boards they put up. And it's a little more high contrast, like it's easier to see. And these are, but the problem is there's like a billion of these files, but I want to just take a look at those too, because they're more interesting to look at for the mainly, but also, sorry, pardon me while I find my way here. I'm trying to open up that, the display boards. So like here's East Riverside Grove Station with Montopolis Station. This is their recommendation. And it has these you can get these on their website too. This is the cross section, which is pretty helpful. Gives you a better visualization, and it's just easier to see. And if you do want to find those, you just go to here and then go to, I think you click on this. And no, it's somewhere on here. Is it at the bottom? Public meetings. I think this is view information and share feedback. Well, you know what? If you do want to comment on this, you have until March 11th, which is why I keep reporting on this and talking about it so much. This is the public comment period where you can make your voice heard and be included in the official record. And the Austin Transit Partnership, like any agency doing one of these DEISs, is required to respond to every single comment. Now, for yours, if you say something and someone else says it, they might just say, see response to comment 11. Nonetheless, it will be a response. And so here is, more information. What is light rail? That's a really good question. I'm actually working on a story about that. What is light rail? The main thing is that it operates on the street, not in its own private right of way. 15 stations, 9.8 miles, about 28,000 daily trips. I had heard 29,000 before. Maybe they revised that. And this would be, we're talking $7 billion. And here you can see those priority extensions. But this is a helpful website, too, to go through. So you can see the different options like Wooldridge Square Station. They want to put a station here at Wooldridge Square and delete the station on in Travis Heights on Riverside Drive. So you can see it would be right here at 10th Street. And then when you click on this, that's when you can get the PDFs that I was just showing you. The more visually appealing ones. But let's go back here. Let's go back to the maps in the DEIS, because these are the ones that I'm really familiar with. We'll go to page 1. And I just want to orient you in case you do want to look at these yourself. So you can see here we have the base design. And then we're going to go through, and then they'll have maps for various design options, like variations on this. And I think that it will be useful to understand how that works. So you kind of break it up here. Each page is broken out. Like if you care about this area, you can kind of zoom in. Again, these are massive PDFs. You can see, okay, that's page 4. This area on Congress, Nelly and Academy Drive, that's page 3. So it can be helpful just to orient yourself to find what you're looking for. Because I spend a lot of time paging through these maps, trying to find, okay, where is that thing again? Where's that thing? Because it's not necessarily intuitive the way it's if you're just flipping through. Now let's just go page by page here, and we'll do this for about half an hour and then wrap it up. But so I'll do my best to get through it all. But this is again 2 of the businesses that would be displaced. So what I was doing was going through and looking for buildings with this red thatching on it, because that means building impact. Sorry, my head, it's right below my head here. Building impact. In other words, tear down the building. And you can see the overlay here, how the street would be reconfigured to essentially, this is Tom's Market, which I spoke to a manager at Tom's who said, actually, this location has seen a big decline in business ever since the TxDOT stopped having people in this building. And so, they would be, and important to note, anyone who is displaced, they are compensated for the building. There's a whole process, which I won't get into right now, but they are compensated. I will add that very often that compensation doesn't always cover all of the costs, definitely not the stress and the sleepless nights and the uncertainty and all of that. But even still, there are certain costs that aren't recovered. Like, for example, if you move to a new location and you have to build up your clientele again, you don't get reimbursed for that, for the drop in business you might have. Little things like that, all kinds of stuff. If you have to hire a lawyer or something. But you can see here, so this Tom's Market, the street would go here. This is a Thundercloud Subs, actually a pretty popular one. I go there from time to time because I often find myself driving down Riverside Drive, and the Thundercloud Subs headquarters is right next door. So those would be knocked down, and this green line is the guideway. So this is where the light rail line would basically split from, as we had here at Waterfront. See how it splits right there? This is where it would split. One branch going down South Congress, one branch going down Riverside Drive. And this is to South Congress. It would cut through this parking lot here and then past this building, which is a 5-story office tower, 50,000 square feet. I went there and checked that out. I was initially, this was one of the, dealing with a lot of information. I initially thought this was part of, this would be knocked down, and I went there and visited, and then I went back to my maps and something's not right here because this is way more businesses than what was in their estimate. And no, it's not going to be knocked down, but it would be right next to the light rail at street level here, coming up Congress Avenue. And you can see, so while there would be about up to 60 something businesses, there'd be more than 300 like slices, like in total about 308, I believe, slices of properties, tracts, we call them, that would have something shaved off for this. Got to make space because, again, the whole point of this is it's on its own lanes going faster than traffic. So, you're in this train whipping by and you're watching the cars just, stopped on Congress Avenue. I will say that is, in my experience, that's the way to get transit ridership is you move faster than cars because you want to go, no one wants to be stuck in traffic. And when I lived in Montreal, it went faster than cars. When I lived in Vancouver, the SkyTrain went faster than cars. It's very convenient. Sitting on the 801 in traffic, not as convenient. So here we go up Congress, and you can see some of the changes, some of the design changes they will make to the street, because this is more than just light rail. They're also, like you can, they're putting in. So let's look at some of this legend a little bit closer. We're talking about, bridge, whatever, fill cut, blah blah blah, guideway. We know what the guideway is. There's existing parks, floodplain. There's Sorry, I gotta switch it to the hand so I can pan without. So this is what I wanted to point out. Proposed tree and furniture zone is shaded in light yellow. Proposed metro bike stations, those are pink. Proposed bus stops, those are blue. Signalized intersections, obviously, that's like a traffic signal. Excuse me. And then, so removing the existing driveway, that's a dotted blue line. Proposed work by others. So this, for example, around I-35, you see a lot of pink because TxDOT is is already starting to expand I-35. And then proposed retaining wall. And then here, the orange proposed bike, sidewalk, or shared use path, which is what SUP stands for, shared use path. So this is always like a thing in news because I don't like to use the term shared use path in broadcast because a lot of people don't know what that is. It's a sidewalk that is for both bicycles and pedestrians. Shared. Proposed pavement markings, curb, blah, blah, blah. The others are pretty self-explanatory, bike movement, etc. So what I wanted to say is like right here, we've got proposed trees and furniture at this corner, along here. There would be more than 600 parking spaces removed, and a lot of that would be on Congress, so goodbye to these cars. But you can see as the light rail will come around, there would be the sidewalk here would sort of curve on South Congress, on the west side of South Congress. And where are we now? I've lost my orientation. I don't know the side streets as well, but so this is Music Lane. We're just south of Music Lane, and we're moving south here. And then the lane widths for the vehicles, 10 feet wide, 11 and a half feet wide for cars and trucks. Crosswalk with a signalized intersection here. And that's Music Lane. Texas School for the Deaf is, of course, on the west side of the street. Continuing south on Congress Avenue, we hit Nellie Street. They want to put a signalized intersection, and this is where the South Congress station would be. Now, I have actually photos of this area, drone pics, because I just figure like I gotta have pics of these areas for web stories, so and for all kinds of reasons actually. So just load it here in my browser. I think this will work. Not now. Okay. Now, is that showing up in OBS? Sort of. That's weird. Okay, whatever. It's here. This is the area, sort of ish, right here, just south of the Texas School for the Deaf, where the train station would be. This would be the South Congress station. So you sort of like lets you off, and then there's the hill up South Congress. As you continue south, there's you gain elevation. So West James Street, between West James and Nellie. All right, well, let's keep going. So go Continuing south down Congress, you've got your intersection here. Again, more like furniture stuff. This parking, I think, would be gone. It looks like, I believe this would be gone. Furnitures and trees and stuff they want to add, enhancements, sidewalks. Because part of the whole thing and the whole point of light rail is like it's got to be walkable around there. And continuing south, okay, a proposed metro bike station. I actually don't know if there's one there right now at Monroe and Congress, but that would be an area where they want to put it. And there's more trees and a furniture zone, just sort of amenity areas. The dotted red line, in case you're curious, LOC stands for limits of construction. So this is like, all the building would be within, all of the like construction work and everything would be within these red dotted lines. All right, so now we are at West Mary Street, and this is 283152. Actually, I should open up my little spreadsheet here. I have a spreadsheet with all of these displacements with the Travis County property ID number. And so I can tell you what that is. I believe that is a bank, but please bear with me while I open up my spreadsheet. Okay. Boom. Come on, Excel, hurry up. Excel is a wonderful piece of software. I've started following this, I think it's on Snapchat, this like Excel tips. Amazing the kind of stuff you can do. I didn't even realize. So 283152 in my spreadsheet here. This is Chase Bank at 1811 South Congress Avenue. Continuing, that would be displaced, and we're going to start to see some more displacements here in a second. But you can see, you're just cruising on down the light rail line. Some proposed water quality ponds right here on Bartlett Street. So this would not be a street anymore that you could go through. It's kind of a weird area. This art piece, which I do have a photo of. I forget what it's called, but you know it if you see it. This art piece is one of the pieces of art. And I do not have these 16,000 pages memorized, so I might be missing some stuff along the way here, but I'm just doing the best sort of off the cuff on a Friday afternoon when I'm tired. And it's been a long week, y'all. But let me see if I can find that. South Congress Avenue. No. Okay. Well, I guess I don't put it in here. No. Whatever. You know the art. You know what? I'll just Google it. I do want to show it to you because when you see this, hey, if you know what it is, put it in the chat. South Congress and Bartlett Art. Don't save. Austin. Public art. God, I'm just like wasting your time here. You know what? Okay. Maybe it's in the DEIS. This is like you're experiencing like what my brain does on a daily basis, zipping through various documents and trying to. This is my 70 gigs of documents, 70 gigabytes. I do have something I've started using called Doc Fetcher, which is fantastic for searching them. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to move on from that. Sorry. Back to our PDF here. Come on. Acrobat. Boom. Moving along. Okay, here we reach a couple more displacements, and these are one of them is a bakery that is known for its kolaches that I have not unfortunately tried yet. So this is BCL of Texas, this water quality pond, and then 753394 BCL of Texas, a Toasty Badger, and then there's a bakery. This is what I was thinking of. Teal something. All right, let's keep going. Here's a couple more displacements. 284484. SoCo Service Center. 284485. Teal House Coffee and Bakery. Teal House Coffee and Bakery. Teal House Coffee. And let's just take a look at that place, because I am very interested. And maybe if you've had this, please leave a message, leave a comment. It's going to help with the SEO on this. It's Teal House Coffee and Bakery. So this would be displaced. Oh, that looks delicious. Oh my goodness. Look at this website. I love this. Good Lord, that Danish is I have to go here. Now, before I go any further, I should probably talk about the timeline, because everyone always asks, well, when would this happen? Construction is set to start in 2027. The land seizures potentially would start late 2026 or in 2027. But the Austin Transit Partnership expects to get the green light from the federal government, or hopes to, by the end of this year or early 2026. So there could be a good year there where they're like, yes, we are going to do this, but you are stuck in your property and you can't sell it or do anything with it for a year. So, but I asked about that, and, if I asked, hey, if someone's in a tough situation and they need to get out of their property, will you expropriate it sooner or whatever? Or vice versa. Someone, maybe needs to stay in there a little bit longer. Will you work with them? And they said yes. So while they're not notifying any of these businesses that are leasing, only property owners, and even then they haven't reached all the property owners. Like, I called the owner of Groovy Lube and he said, I hadn't heard anything. I was basically telling him, which is not fun. I have to say, it's not fun to tell people that their business might be torn down eventually. But ATP says they will talk to anyone affected and try and work with them. So for whatever that's worth, they are trying to reduce the burden, and they're trying to do as few residential displacements as they can for this project. And then right here, this I believe 307039 is a bank that would be displaced. 307039, boom. Yeah, PNC Bank. And this is sort of, I believe this is sort of about where the park and ride. Oh no, they said the park and ride would not require, at Old Torf, would not require any displacement. So I think they'll just be using an existing parking lot. And we can look at that. But yeah, so this is where Old Torf Station would be, right here on South Congress Avenue, just south of Old Torf Street. And I also have a photo of that, a drone pic, and I just want to show it to you because I think I know where the park and ride is going to go. Let me just drop that in to Firefox. Oops. I'm still learning. Please be patient with me. This is a drone photo. And so this, I think, based on the map, it looks like this might be the lot, but maybe it would be over here. They're talking about 100 spaces. And so, yeah, you can see there's the new HEB, and there would be right outside this HEB, there would be a new light rail station. That would be the end of the line with the park and ride, with plans to expand it eventually if they can ever find the funding. Of course, that's always the main problem, which I found amusing. I had a story about the side note. I had a story about the Bergstrom Spur, like basically abandoned rail line stretching from about St. David's, South Austin Medical Center, almost to the airport. And the city of Austin is, this rail line is, it's abandoned. The tracks, they're like in disrepair. The city of Austin is converting it to a trail. And I did a story on it. So many people were like, why don't they put a rail line there? It would get to the airport. Well, it wouldn't get to the airport. It would get you to US 183. Second of all, there's no station there. There's no money to build it. I mean, they did consider rail. There's no money. There's no station. There's no infrastructure. There's no anything except the right-of-way, which they are keeping, will be in the city's possession. And one day, eventually, in theory, they could, because it does connect to South Congress Transit Center. So there's just so much demand to have rail to the airport. And then here we go, continuing along. There's a smoke shop would also be displaced. That's on Old Torf. Old Torf just east of Congress. So that's that. Now, here we are. Let's go to page 14 out of 128. It always takes me forever to get through these. So Waterfront Station. Waterfront Station. Now, this is, again, we're looking at the base design, not the possible modifications. So you can see here there would be a bridge over Lady Bird Lake. That's what the orange is. And this in this model, which is not what they want to do, it would come down to ground level. But here's the bridge over the lake, and then here it would go right through the Waller Creek Boathouse. That's what that is, which would be torn down, and then continue along Trinity, and you can see this Cesar Chavez station would be right here at Cesar Chavez, or just north of Cesar Chavez Street, sort of near the convention center, basically. And now this is Trinity, and then we get to 3rd. This is where it turns on to 3rd. Now this building here, 192-865, I did a story on this like last year or the year before when ATP said they wanted this line to cut through the building and have the station inside the building, but that never worked out. So they're still open to doing that. I guess they just couldn't work everything out with the developer. Another possible area of reportage. But so now we're continuing down 3rd Street. We'd have a station here at the Congress station, Congress and 3rd. And by the way, the bikeway on 3rd Street would be relocated to 4th Street. That's the plan. And then, you can kind of see here in this map, relocation of Lance Armstrong bikeway design along 4th Street under development. So they're already working on that. And a little bit of a different view here, but you can see how this would go. And then turn north up Guadalupe. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to turn north up Guadalupe Street. And I don't think there are any displacements downtown. I don't think there are any displacements south of MLK. Okay, Republic Square, zip it on by. So, Republic Square is kind of like a popular bus transfer area. It's pretty walkable, I think, from Congress and 3rd, depending on your mobility, but in the heat. But, most people, I think, could do it. And here's Wooldridge Square. And so the station that they want to do is right here at 10th and Wooldridge Square. A lot of state employees in this area. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is one. 196-858. This is a drive-through bank. That would be displaced. Now, continuing up Guadalupe, and here we go, another station that would be here at 15th Street. So the northbound station would be north of 15th. The southbound station would be south of 15th. So you'd have a platform on either side of 15th Street, depending on where you're going. Continuing north along along Guadalupe. As we get to MLK, this is a 7-Eleven at MLK and 15th Street that would be torn down. And you can see here how the sidewalk would be widened and sort of wrap around this corner. Whoops, what did I do? Oh yeah, wrap around this corner. And then now we get into the UT area. And we're going north up Guadalupe still past 21st. And then we see right here, I think I showed this on the last live stream where this would be, and I do have a photo of that just to orient you. Where did I put that? I need to have a better, the drag station. It's a strange, should have just for organizational purposes, I should have just labeled it Guadalupe Street. All right, so just to give you an idea of about where it would be, I wonder if I can open a video and find. Oh, I can. Neat. This is drone vid. Sort of in this general area-ish. There's a co-op. West Mall. This is actually south of where it would be, and now we're flying down Guadalupe Street. I'm not flying over any moving cars. I'm definitely not violating federal law there because there were no cars beneath me. Let's see. This one. Yeah. So again, this is looking up. This is 24th. There's just, KUT is right at Dean Keaton. So I know this area quite well. Been working there for many years. And there's a lot of people around there when school is in session. When school is not in session, there's not a lot of people around there. But there's always some. Which is one of the reasons why it's so hard to keep a business afloat. I mean, I've seen so many businesses come and go, I think because of this high and low. You got to survive the summer season when there's far fewer customers around. But yeah, you can see, Metro Bike Station right here proposed south of 21st. I don't, there is a Metro Bike Station around here now. I can't remember exactly where. I'm sorry, bus stop. Metro Bike is pink. Bus stop is blue. Bus stop there, and Metro bike on 22nd Street. So let's just keep going here. This is the UT station between 22nd and 23rd. And then let's zoom in. Looked at this a little bit last time, but basically bus, bike only, these lanes. So no cars down Guadalupe. They'd be going down Nueces, which would be converted to a two-way street. Boom. And now here we get to Guadalupe. Now this is where 27th, this is an in and out here. This, under the previous plans, would have been displaced along with a whole bunch of businesses on the east side of Guadalupe, north of 27th Street. No longer, including Dirty Martin's, will no longer be displaced, but all of these businesses would. This is an Exxon. We've got this, 208. It does have its own TCAT ID. I missed that. Okay, well, I counted this. I just didn't. It doesn't matter for your purposes. It just matters for mine because I was also keeping track of like the assessed value of all of these properties. But this is very interesting because this would be a dramatic change from the way it is right now. And, we did look at this a little bit last time, but I just think this is very interesting because of how much it would change. And let me go back and just pop this video into Firefox just to give you a little bit of a view of this area. Here's Out of the Closet, which I mentioned. And then you've got, they want to expand into this annex next door. They're already in here. Like immediately next door, they're using it as like a donation processing center and stuff. There's an empanada place here. There is a Phoenician Resto Cafe and Kebabzi Mediterranean Grill in there. And there's Sifa there. And the halal place. Those would all be displaced. Oh, looking down. There's someone going on a jog. It was a nice day. The weather was nice. It wasn't cold when I took this. This was last week, I want to say. All right. So let's continue. Thank you for doing this with me. I really enjoy your company. I enjoy doing this. If you have any questions, please ask. Please ask in the chat. Yeah, the first rail transit accessible HEB. Yeah, and gosh, that's such a good point. Is there any other HEB in the world that has a rail station next to it? If you know, leave a comment or put it in the chat. I'm very curious to know. But this 30th Street would be reconfigured. I was just driving past here today, and it's a weird intersection right now because you have a traffic light if you're heading south of Guadalupe and want to turn left on 30th Street. You stop at the light, but then you have to, when it turns green, you kind of have to go forward past the traffic light to turn left. Oh, it's weird. So that would be changed, and this would be reconfigured just to connect more directly, but then that would mean displacing 211-205, which is Salsa Limon. By the way, some coworkers of mine said very, very delicious food at Salsa Limon, and I believe them. This is a great chance to promote these businesses for the handful of people that watch this, but far more people listen to the radio. Look at this. Oh my God, please. I want to go there right now. I love these. See, so few places do this fresh. They just right into the tortilla. They'll like a lot of places they'll chop off the meat and then put it in a steam tray and then heat it up on the flat top or whatever. But if they're doing this straight into the I want to say pita because I'm so used to shish taouk from living in Montreal, and Vancouver. But yeah, Salsa Limon, man, definitely got to try that place. And they have a bunch of different locations. Wow, that is so delicious looking. Ugh, look at that. Okay, I'm going to Salsa Limon. Let's all go. Let's do a meet up there or something. Continuing along down Guadalupe, this is the other one, 211-185. This is the cleaner and alterations business. My Faust, co-owner with her husband, who's been there, she said 16 years. She's 75 years old, looking to retire in a couple years. Because, who doesn't want to retire when they're in their late 70s? She's a hardworking woman, and I was thinking about this today. Like, I probably won't ever stop working either. Like, if you love your job, Why would you? Okay, continuing along, and we're almost at the 38th Street here. This is Groovy Lube. And there's also a restaurant here, which is called... I'm really bad at remembering names. Or Bellows Bar and Kitchen. I've not eaten there. You know what? Why not? Let's just do all of these, because all of the restaurants anyway, because I like to eat food. Do you like to eat food? Yum. Do they have it's what? Filipino pizza? Whoa. Oh my goodness. Wow. Is that what that said? Wait, let me go back. Sorry. Yeah, best Filipino pizza. Rad, man. I don't think I've ever had Filipino pizza. I've had Filipino food, but I don't think I've had Filipino pizza before. Man, I want to go there right now. Look at that. Okay, sorry, getting distracted. Let's stick to the task at hand here. Forgive me. And then, so here as we approach 38th Street, this is where the 38th Street station would be, and the park and ride would be right here at 38th Street, which would displace 3 businesses, including this Jiffy Lube and a car wash. Now, and then continuing along, you can see the further displacements, and then it would just kind of end here instead of continuing on to Crestview or whatever. And as I mentioned, that's not a priority anymore. It's now the airport that's the biggest priority. So now we're down at Riverside Drive. Okay, so we went south down Congress. Now we're going to go down Riverside. This would be elevated under the proposal that they want to do. And just there is a station in these maps right here at Travis Heights Boulevard. So the rail would be elevated basically almost to Travis Heights Boulevard. That's almost the top of the hill where Travis Heights Boulevard is. And then would come back to street level. But they don't want to do a station here because they want to do the one at Wooldridge Square, 10th and Guadalupe. All this pink is TxDOT's I-35 expansion. This is like the sort of spiral walkway that will help people gain elevation to get on the pedestrian crossing over Lady Bird Lake. This is Norwood Park, with which TxDOT will be taking part of for the I-35 project. They'll be seizing part of that, and they have to replace it. And then look at all this. This is I-35 at Riverside, and all of this pink this will be the mega I-35 on steroids. And, there's, again, some variations on what they want to do, but that they're considering different variations of that plan. I mean, ATP is considering different variations, slight variations on the alignment of like the bike paths and sidewalks along there. But we can see here, this road will be kind of pushed out a little bit, it looks like, to create space for this. If they do the pathway down the middle, I think it would be, I don't want to say how many traffic lanes or car and truck lanes there would be. But we'll continue along. So there would be did we miss it? The station at Lakeshore Boulevard. Yeah, right here. Lakeshore Boulevard and Riverside Drive, there would be a station. Some displacements here. This is a Jiffy Lube. There is another restaurant that we have to check out. Over time. Okay, another restaurant we have to check out. There's a taco place that I have not been to. That would be displaced. Maybe not. Maybe it's not on this map. But we're almost done. We're almost through. We don't need to look through every design option here. But I did want to. Mainly, I want to just do more of these live streams. Talk to you about what I'm doing. And I have a little secret surprise, a little FOIA Friday thing at the very end of this regarding Cap Metro, on a story I reported that's transit related, but not related to light rail. Although, it's payment system related, so eventually it would be related to light rail. This is the Pleasant Valley station. Remember this AI animation of the rendering? The magical ghost train that it's like a telescoping train. This AI woos like weird dreams, and I don't know. It's kind of strange to have there's a lot of people around here that live around here. I get it, but it is strange to have this transit and then like giant, massive surface parking lots right next to it. But that is the Super HEB or HEB Plus, whatever it's called. Okay. as we carry on here, this would be a little bridge as indicated by orange. And you can see some of the plans here, like Riverside Drive eastbound would be realigned to go right here, 2 lanes in each direction, and sidewalks right next to it. And then all of this orange here, those orange lines indicate like a bike, pedestrian, shared use path. So this would all be built up in some kind of way. There was really, under the previous super expensive plans that they had to dial back, there was all kinds of fun stuff around here, but it's unclear to me what that will look like. Maybe they have the designs, but they're just not sharing them. Or, you know, they're sharing some designs. I don't know if they're sharing all of the details or all of their plans at this moment. They're in the DEIS process. This is a snapshot in time, this design. So we're still driving down Riverside here. We're at Faro. This station would be moved to Grove because of a number of reasons. The city bought, there's ACC here, and the city owns some property here that they want to allow affordable housing developments on. So that would make sense to have a station right near that. If you're going to do that, and then continuing on Riverside Drive. After Grove, the next station would be Montopolis, and then this is the area. Okay, Vargas, right? So this shell would be just if they do this walkway down the middle of Riverside, then it would mean this is a shell 290485. That would be displaced. This is that cash transfer business that would be displaced. This house, and I think this house. It's on a different map. So if you live in those houses and you want to talk to me, nathan@kut.org. I tried to go by, but they had like locked fences and signs that said beware of dog, and it didn't seem like they were really eager for someone to come knocking on their door with a microphone. I didn't want to jump the fence or anything like that. Thrasher Lane. I wonder if that's a good skating street. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to show you the last station here, which is Yellow Jacket. And there's some food trucks in this place at Uphill and Yellow Jacket. And right here on the other side of Yellow Jacket, there are some food businesses. I think it's right here. And then it would turn, and this would be the last stop on the line. And then the trains would turn here down Airport Commerce Drive. You know, this is Ben White. Down Airport Commerce Drive, boop-ba-doo. There would be no stations, but it would go to this would be where the operations and maintenance facility would be. And one thing that didn't get into my story about this was this tract right here, so all of the shaded areas are the areas that they would expropriate. And this tract right here, approved site plan, this would have been, almost was a 300 and something unit affordable housing development. That is not going to happen for a number of reasons. It's interesting to me. Maybe it's not as interesting to your average person, but hey, you're watching an hour-long live stream of a guy going through PDFs of a light rail map, so maybe you would find this interesting too. But let me just show you what this would be. Okay, so this was their application. This was the developer's application for, why is it not showing up? Oh yeah, you can see it. I just wanted to show you the site plan. Come on. Okay, boop, that's where it would be, the site. Okay, right here. So Broadstone, this is already built, Broadstone Riverside. This area that says site, excuse me, this is where it would be. And there's Austin Bergstrom International Airport. So this is actually in what is called an airport overlay. An airport overlay is like a noise contour. So basically, it's like how loud, how much, like, airport is like how, I'm just learning about airport overlays. It's about how do I have the map? I had a map. It's about, basically it's, is this it? Sorry, I've got so many PDFs. It's too close to so here, I'll read you this. It's too close to the airport for city staff to approve. So the developers of this initially had their application rejected. Then they came back and said, okay, we're going to do affordability unlocked. And that is basically a program that lets you sort of bypass certain zoning restrictions like airport overlays. And then they actually, got the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs to give them some approvals. But this memo is from October 18th, 2024. So by the way, this is after the city knew that ATP wanted to use this for their operations and maintenance facility. But nonetheless, the housing department and the airport, so this is Ghislaine Badawi, who's CEO of the Department of Aviation or the airport, and Mandy DeMeo, who's the interim director of the housing department. And they wrote to the city saying, we have concerns about allowing this in Airport Overlay 3. And so in order for the developer to obtain the federal tax credits, they need what's called a resolution of no objection from the city, from the jurisdiction for this 328 unit affordable housing development. And this is a memo from city staff from October saying, we're not going to bring this to city council. So we're not going to bring this to you because we don't think that they should have a RONO. So we're not even going to bring it to you to vote on. And without that, the project is basically dead in the water. I mean, maybe there's some ways they could get around that, but yeah, that killed that project. So it didn't really make it in the story because it's like, well, it's not going to happen anyway. So it's not a displacement. It's just, we don't want to include every little detail in a story. It's so much is about what not to include, which is why we do these. I do these live streams so I can tell you everything that was on the cutting room floor. Nerd alert. Okay, one last thing that I just wanted to do here before we leave, which is it's FOIA Friday, and so I did file a public information request with Capital Metro about their new payment system because they're bringing in tap to pay to buses and trains. You may have heard of this. Let me go back here so I can show you. This is from from last month. And essentially they're saying that by March they want to have tap to pay because, well, for a number of reasons, tap to pay is just more convenient, but also the payment system they had, the QR code scanner, was so problematic. I heard so many constant complaints about this. I'd been sort of doing some digging on it, but never got around to really quite writing a story about it. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, I have all these documents. I want to do share some of this reporting in a story. So I filed some public information requests because I knew that they were having drama with Siemens, which is the company that bought out Bytemark, which is the company that CapEtro has been doing business with for years, with developing their app and this payment system. I got all of these maintenance reports and work orders about maintenance workers being dispatched to repair broken QR code scanners. I mean, they would reboot the scanners, and then the driver would call back 30 minutes later and say, these scanners are still not working. And so, it not only is it depriving Capital Metro of revenue, and by the way, I did ask for a revenue analysis and loss analysis, and I don't believe I received that. Maybe they don't have one. So anyway, they're saying, hey, Bytemark, screw you. We don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. And it's actually Siemens, which is a huge, massive German company. So what was interesting was I filed a public information request, which I'm happy to show you how to do anytime. Everyone should know how to do it. I filed a public information request asking for, basically like correspondence and they challenged it to the Attorney General saying, no, this is competitive information. We can't share this. Then, interestingly, they rescinded that challenge and said, you know what? I think we'll release this because upon further examination, the third party's documents are not responsive to this request. All right, whatever. So I've not even had a chance to go through all of these docs in detail yet, but I did want to read this one with you if you're interested. Maybe not. If not, fine. Leave a comment and tell me this is stupid. But this is from Hush Blackwell, which is a law firm, to Siemens Mobility about the contract and a cure notice, which is like basically fix this stuff. This letter serves as a notice to cure under the termination for default section 21 of the above referred contract. By the way, section 21 of the contract is like we can terminate if you're not doing your job. As such, Capital Metro is issuing this cure notice, requires cure of all failures within 10 calendar days. So basically, you have to fix everything in 10 days. And if not, we're going to cancel our contract. Siemens has to provide full and urgent resolution. And by the way, this is dated May 30th. So this is last year, middle of the year. The system, this is juicy, but I don't know if I can do a story just based on this letter, but I did want to share it with someone. Please. This is it. This is a drama here. This is the tea, all right? This is Jameson J. Watts, partner at Hush Blackwell, writing. This payment system, quote, as developed and maintained by Siemens as the prime contractor, continues to be in an unacceptable state following the attempted fix on April 27, 2004. The term, quote, attempted, unquote, is used as the validation system degradation starting March 25th, 2024, and has not been fully resolved and continues to see issues with the offline validation, sporadic connectivity, as well as the internal error messages. The ongoing issues, coupled with the egregious service interruption from March 25th, 2024 through April 27, 2004, whereby the validation system was offline system-wide. Their validation system was offline for a month. Good Lord. I did not know that. I'm just learning this because I've not read through this in detail. I just sort of skimmed the top of it and I was like, oh, this is good. Their validation system was off for a month. It has caused damages to Cap Metro's reputation, brand, and relationship with Siemens in the lack of trust and poor communications, as well as to Cap Metro's AMP customers. This is the AMP card that they rolled out, who have had to, the payment card, who have had to frustratingly call and deal with unexpected stored value overages. Stored value overage sounds like a good thing, but if you're a customer anyway. The following highlights the nature of the system degradation, the subsequent damages, and Cap Metro's expectations toward resolution. All right. Here we go. Let's dig in. The offline validation issue remains an open item from the Release 3 test failure report and Siemens Zendesk that tracked approximately 180 issues for resolution during the implementation and test phases. Although the item was initially classified as minor given the low frequency, after system launch on August 1st, 2023, maybe this is a story. It has devolved as of the noted March 25, 2024 date, whereby the offline state was prevalent system-wide per the root cause analysis provided by Siemens on May 1st, 2024. The technical problem was identified in Section 2 as a critical level issue, introduced with the Cap Metro Connect or AMP card solution that resulted in validator API traffic being blocked from reaching Siemens system. Okay, so they have an API, right? They have like an API is like a language that different computer systems can use to communicate with each other. And they're saying that like basically it was blocked from reaching Siemens system. The reasoning or why behind this problem is detailed in Section 3 as the existing Amazon Web Services load balancer that had been created for the Cap Metro validator. So this is really technical stuff. I won't bore you with all this, but I'm just going to skim through here and I'll read it in more in detail later. Let me know if you think this is a story. I mean, basically this is saying like, hey, all of you who are having payment problems with your Capital Metro card for, I guess, at least a couple years or so, well, almost a couple years, you were not imagining stuff. There was all this drama going on behind the scenes that we did not know about. And like Siemens, according to Cap Metro, messed this up. It was just a trash system. They were losing money. It was offline for an entire month. And meanwhile, customers are getting frustrated. They're saying this is damaging Cap Metro's reputation, making them look bad. And it was. People were complaining to me like, Cap Metro's trash. What are they doing? This payment system is garbage. You go on and it doesn't work. And the bus driver's just, okay, go ahead, because they don't want to like just sit there and have the bus get late. And so this affected customers with okay, sorry. I'm just getting a little ahead of myself here. I'm getting excited about this. Customers are witnessing a number of stored value charges, bringing them negative values. Oh my goodness. What? This logic may not, I think I have a cat trying to get in here. They've fielded approximately 300 emails and 250 calls and growing from confused and frustrated customers that have been directly impact their accounts. Good Lord. Stored value charges, bringing them into negative values. Their accounts were being drained. Autoload, whose accounts are triggered in turn. The damages as a result of the service interruption period and ongoing nature of the issues are immeasurable. The damages are immeasurable. There's your quote, bro. Cat Metro customers and vehicle operators are historically frustrated by the underperformance of the validators and even the app system since launch, with the instability, unreliability, and poor performance, which has been heightened by the recent degradation. They were pissed with a capital P, capital I, capital S, capital S, capital E, capital D. The system-wide effect is also impacting their contract, their onboard validator expansion. Wow. Cat Metro expects once the resolution is implemented that Siemens will continue to maintain the system in status quo regardless of the direction of the relationship. This shall include troubleshooting. Okay, so we're going to fire you, but you better keep fixing this thing until we're done. This, as their D-scope, I guess they're like narrowing what Siemens is doing. After months of back and forth, Cat Metro reiterates its position whereby the claims for Siemens for their development efforts on Release 4 are rejected. Per the project's schedule and standard acceptance process, the development work on Release 4 was not authorized by Cat Metro. Such work, in quotation marks, Siemens claims done, was now this is a legal letter. This is a formal letter. Such work, Siemens claims done, was a result of Siemens following an internal schedule and wanted to get a jump start on work. Again, not authorized by Cat Metro. The design was not finalized nor closed, and Cat Metro is seeking a cure to de-scope Release 4 with the signing of modification, blah, blah, blah. As such, money Siemens claims owed for Release 4 in the amount of $194,000 plus interest is denied. So they're fining Siemens $200K. Cat Metro intends to exercise its right to terminate the contract per Section 21 of the contract if Siemens fails to cure the above referenced breaches. As stated before, Siemens has the 10 days from receipt of this notice to cure the referenced breaches and blah, 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 do all this stuff. Failure to timely cure by 5 p.m. on June 27th, 2024 with a corrective action plan submitted no later than 5 p.m. on Monday, June 10th, 2024, will result in termination of the contract for default, a claim to the surety on the bond, and pursuit of further legal actions enforcing terms of the contract, which shall include other means to correct blah, blah, blah. Sorry, it's legalese now. Basically, they're saying, like, fix this by this time or we're going to F with you. No prior or future action or inaction, Cat Metro, blah, 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 legalese. Okay, whoa, man. That's... look, I'll be honest with you. Cat Metro stories, people don't read them very much unless it's about Cat Metro messing something up. This might be interesting, though, because it's like someone messed up Cat Metro stuff and then they sort of brought the hammer down. I don't know. Is this a news story? Tell me. Leave a comment below or put a comment in the chat. All right. So this was a fantastic conversation. I hope you have... Oh, my God. Was I... I'm so sorry. I was on Firefox the whole time instead of this letter. I need to do a better job at live streaming. I'm still learning how to do this. I'm still practicing. But this is the letter I was talking about. This is what it looks like. This is what I was reading to you. I should have had that up. I need 3 screens really to do this properly. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to have another sip of my clean. I did not finish that. I'll put it back in the fridge. It's getting a bit late to drink energy drinks. But yeah, this is fun. Let me know if there's a topic you'd like me to cover on these live streams, and I will definitely consider it because I enjoy doing it. And the reason why is it's a fantastic way to share with you. Like we put in hours, days, and I say we because I mean like the reporters at KUT and reporters everywhere put in all this time on these stories, and then we do a single 7-minute, 5-minute, 4-minute report and a 500,000 word story. There's so much more to share for those who are interested. I can't get over these little mini trains that the AI generated. Wait, what is that dog doing? Oh, it kept the dog real. Oh my God, the dog's going to go into the train. What is that? Wow. The train drove over those people. I just noticed that. Is it dry? Look, it's crashing into the people. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that. That's... Man, this AI stuff is kind of dark. It's like a bad dream. All right. That's all I got for you. Nathan at KUT.org, youtube.com/@KUTNathan. I'm on Twitter /X at KUTNathan, and KUT.org for all the news. But yeah, like I was saying, there's just so much stuff that we don't get to in our stories, and I love to share that all with you.